Hello, and welcome to Read and React, presented by Fable Table. I am your host, as ever, Nik Bowen. And joining me, as always, is the lovely Shannon. Hi, Shannon.
Hi, Nick.
Uh, I have realized that I always introduce you as the lovely Shannon on this show,
Uh-huh.
and that just needs to be your online alias now.
The lovely Shannon.
The lovely
I
Shannon.
can make that happen. Let me see. Wait, hang on. Let
TLS.
me.
Hello, TLS.
C'est moi.
Yes.
Bonjour.
We are continuing our read through of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series by Matt Dinniman, and today we are finishing up book 3. So spoilers for everything up through the end of book 3 in the series. And as a reminder from last time, some of our major plots are everyone figuring out the Iron Tangle, and including the reader.
Yep.
And never quite getting it, including the reader and including Matt Dinniman, I suspect.
Let's put some finger quotes around figuring out the Iron Tangle. Figuring out the Iron Tangle, quote unquote. Absolutely. Yeah.
We have the players all, like, this is the first floor, they're really all working together, but then that's being messed up by all of the PvP mechanics, like bounties, and the recaps messing with crawlers' perceptions of each other, especially the top 10. We've been exploring the role of NPCs and monsters in the dungeons. We've been exploring Katya's growth as a crawler and party member, and the tension with Hekla and the Brynhild's daughters, which is going to come to a head here in a minute. We have Donut's growing emotional complexity, which will also come to a head here in a minute. We have Carl's rebellion, which is still just seeds that I don't think at this point he even necessarily believes in, but he wants to do something, but just doesn't see how to.
Right.
And then finally, we've had a bunch of changes with the metal art characters, which we're going to explore a little bit here in an even shorter second. So yeah, those are some of our major plot threads from last time. So the second half of this book just takes off. It really, it dials it up to 11 and basically doesn't stop, except for maybe like for one brief moment during a really awful scene.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll
there
get
were
to,
so many.
We'll get to Growler. We'll get to Growler Gary.
Oh, Growler Gary, poor Growler. Yeah,
it kind of dials it up to 11 in a different way. Okay, so the first thing we do is the party was heading to the Desperado Club right before an upcoming interview. And the chapters 19 and 20 I have labeled as Frank's Red Hot Revenge.
Which is true.
Yes.
But is it really? I mean, it's revenge to Frank, but is it really revenge? Knowing what we know,
only time will tell. Only time will tell. And well,
Fair
yeah.
enough.
So, just as a kind of to recenter where we are at in terms of like how we are feeling about how this dungeon floor is going, it is just total chaos and a diaspora of crawlers all over the place.
Yeah.
We have Imani and Elle's crew are like sheltering in place because they don't know what else to do. Batista's group of like 400 crawlers are near the end of the line, but only half of them have the souvenir hats they need to go through the abyss portal. And so half would be trapped. So right now they're in a standoff with like a crab yad. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it, but an NPC that guards a portal that takes them back to the front of the line.
Kind of like a snake-like creature, I think. But what's interesting about this particular guardian of the portal is that it is more like an NPC and less like a mob.
Right. It's not, they were expecting it to be like a boss fight, and the Crabiad is just like, I'll kill myself if you come any closer, and it'll close the portal that you need to survive. So they're like literally in a standoff.
Hostage negotiation.
Yes,
Yes.
and in fact, I think one of the crawlers in Batista's group is like a former police negotiator.
Was he former? Oh,
Yeah,
shit! I think you're right.
they
Oh my
mention
gosh,
it,
yeah.
and it's just really it just like creates this kind of like he set up this expectation that they're gonna have to fight this NPC and try and like subdue it, but it's not a fight at all, and it's really risky.
Yeah.
And it's just this ugly pressure of not a lot of options just brewing for Batista and all these other crawlers everywhere. Is just like they don't really know what to do.
Yeah,
And
it's
yeah,
and especially like interesting like reading it from like a secondhand perspective because we're hearing it
right,
basically like through text, like Batista's text to Carl and how Carl is interpreting that. So like, but it's a really interesting piece
yeah,
of these couple of chapters because we like get the sense of urgency and how horrible it is, but Carl is dealing with his own urgent, horrible
right,
shit. So it's kind of like, oh my God, this other thing is happening, urgent, back burner, because I've got my
right,
own things to deal with. So like, it's
yeah.
an interesting, like, it's one of those it's like again, like what you said, like the second half of the book just flew by, and it was just all of these things that had kind of culminated and boiled over.
Yes.
And this is just one of the many things that got put on the back burner that boiled over. And like, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
just
And
terrific.
also not only the crawlers, but also the NPCs that are the
Yes.
Iron Tangle employees are also having
Uh-huh.
breakdowns, realizing that their existence, like they're breaking the fourth wall and realizing that everything is well, either
Yes, sir.
they're not breaking the fourth wall and they're breaking down because their job is falling apart and their world, as fake as it is breaking,
Uh-huh.
or they're realizing that everything, all their memories are planted and they're having a reality breakdown in a different way. It's just fun.
Right? It's it yes. It's
Yeah.
oh I think Tisquick comes in later, but like he and Firebrandy,
Oh my
like
God.
this is the
Yeah.
beginning of a thing for Carl as far as the NPCs go.
Yeah.
Which is really, he can't help them. You know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
he's he's making a plan. He's getting smarter. He's getting stronger with every one
Yeah.
of these sort of like interactions and encounters he has. He's like, how do I make this work for me? You know?
Right. And I think that's what makes Carl like the one of the like the focus of the novel as a character is he is always strategizing and
Yes.
is very clever. Uh and it seems to work most of the time, especially since he's
He's not
received the Dungeon Anarchist cookbook because now the inspiration can come from other
absolutely
sources. Um
like I really like not just in this book, but like over the course of the next few books, the way that he comes to think of the people, like the authors of this cookbook and
yeah.
like the other entries that he sees within the cookbook, like they become so important. And I love the introduction of it. It's very slow. And he's like, oh my God, like it is a lifeline. But then later it becomes more than just a lifeline to him, more than just
Yes.
like, oh, that's a clever way to make a bomb. It becomes something else entirely. Like I love the introduction
Mhm.
of the Anarchist Cookbook into the plot line.
It's very
Fantastic.
good.
Like,
It's very good.
can I ask you what is like a highlight? So like I know we broke it down. So like just for like 19 and 20, what is a
Yes.
highlight for you from like 19 and
Mm.
20 from Frank's Red Hot Revenge, like that sort of arc?
Um, I think for me it's that like Frank is sort of a mirror of Carl. Just
Okay.
the fact like we've been peeling back this onion of how Maggie and Frank are parents. And oh,
Mm.
during that time Carl has truly become a parent himself, and like the like
Yes.
or the reality of how he is a pet parent has shifted into like literal parenthood. um
Right.
and just like Frank talking through the choices he made and watching Carl judge
Yes.
him for it, but also
Hmm.
like we wonder what Carl is willing to do for Donut at the same time. And Carl, like, just as easily could have been put in this position. Like Frank talks about how that early on when they were fighting other crawlers, it was because the AI awarded them like loot that encouraged them to attack other crawlers. And it was their only way of supporting Yvette, their daughter, because of her unwillingness to participate in the crawl at all. Not even just against other crawlers, but also even against like just the NPCs and monsters. She just didn't have a stomach for this, and they were trying to get her to, yeah. So.
I have thoughts and reservations about that. Like, as far like where Yvette is concerned, or Yvette, or however you say her name. Like, I know it comes down to who their guide was when they first, like, the tutorial guild. But up till that point, like, it seems like I have to wonder how receptive, if the person that they first encountered in the dungeon was this Yvette, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would Carl have been willing to kill other humans if he knew how? So this is so like I because like, even as amazing as the advice that Mordecai gives is, Carl's his own person. Carl has his own mind. Carl makes his own decisions. He takes into account what it is that Mordecai is saying, and he's like, "Sounds good, buddy. Like, I'll take that into advisement." But like, he's still his own person, and I think that I don't know.
Well,
like, if his game guide was like, kill other crawlers, you'll advance faster. I don't know that Carl would be receptive to that at all.
Well, I think Carl has two unique characteristics, and that is, one, he is a character of strong moral values, and it is completely beholden to them. He is incapable of not sticking to his values, as we've talked about. And two, and this actually jumps ahead to something that Donut says to Carl, I think actually in the next book, but it's something that's readily apparent in every like scene we've seen in the book so far, and that is that Carl is capable of looking at a situation and finding an off the path option. He is creative, he is intuitive and clever. And for lots of these other crawlers, and Carl remarks on this, all of them are being offered like awful game guides. Everyone. Tiafa?
Mistress Tiafa,
Frank's and Maggie and Yvette's guide, they all gave bad advice. And for people who are like, I don't know what's going on, I guess I better go with the advice I'm being given and the items I'm being given because I need to optimize. Like, they're being set up to fail. Or being set up to make bad choices, and if they're not as creative or clever or convicted, is
every game guide a former crawler? And this is what
I believe so.
This is what I don't know. I wonder. I don't know.
I don't know either.
That's not something that's ever explicitly stated, but like, I know that
no, because there's far fewer crawlers survive than are around,
and they can
like,
take
then there are starting crawlers. So like, if Mordecai's only crawlers were Carl and Donut, that's like a 2-to-1 ratio for game guides. There's not half as many game guides as there are crawlers. That would be way too many game guides to employ.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like,
I don't know.
So like, let's play devil's advocate here and pretend like, and just say, okay, let's say every game guide is a former crawler. Like, these crawlers who have interacted with these particular game guides, like, how many of them are just like, fuck it, kill everyone. It's a kindness to kill them early. Advance as much as you can.
Right.
You're gonna die anyway.
They're all gonna die. They're gonna die. You're gonna die. You might as well do Do what you gotta
And
do.
Mordecai, as broken and sad and like as troubled as he is, I think there's still something really wonderful and redeemable about Mordecai. Like, even at the very beginning, when he's just like, he doesn't even want to open the door for Carl and Donut. And yet somehow, like, their relationship just deepens and becomes more important. Like, not just because of the source of information that he is, but who Mordecai becomes to them.
True.
I don't know, dude. Like, it's interesting. Like, I've thought, I've had, it's a very thought provoking concept. Like, are they all former crawlers? Are they all just like fucking kill
interesting
everybody,
to
kill yourself? Like,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, I know. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So just to kind of frame how the scene plays out, they head to the Desperado Club. Fun fact: both the bomb and the
Bobo.
sledge,
Bobo and the sledge.
Bobo and the sledge have now both paid money for protection spells for Donut and Carl. One has a physical protection and one has a magic protection spell.
Yep.
I just love that. Donut wants to go to the penis parade, to the strip club, because she wants to see a naked man dance, one better than the weird guy that came over when Carl was gone.
Oh yeah, I remember. He put his socks on his penis and like
danced around,
jiggled it around, and said he was a king. Yeah.
And then
that leaves an impression.
Yeah, Carl approaches the bar and finds Frank, who is just like, Carl approaches him very cautiously, but Frank is extremely pitiful, and I think we, the reader, figure out well before Carl does that there's like Frank has no fight in him. I think Sledge is like, yep, he's a regular at the bar. He's always very drunk. Frank can't even draw the like noise bubble around his head. He's taking blitz sticks. He is like calling Maggie names and doesn't even remember picking his class or race. He thinks his like game guy did it for him. He describes like meeting up with other crawlers that wanted nothing to do with him. He was gonna like let himself die on the third floor, but chickened out at the last second and is gonna be more brave this time. And then he declares he's gonna avenge Yvette. And there's like a weird, like, despite how pitiful Frank is at this point, like a confidence and like a conviction to him. And he's like declaring this vengeance to Carl, and he just puts a ring on the counter, and it is the Ring of Divine Suffering. It is a PvP item that gives you tons of stats for killing out fellow crawlers, with an asterisk, also combatants on what are they called? City floors? No. Urban floors.
City floors? The 3, 6, 9, 12,
Yeah. So like other people from outside the dungeon that come in to hunt crawlers. So this is like a hugely like vicious item. And he's like, he like walks us through the story that you and I were just talking about how they got this early on for killing another crawler, and they gave it to Yvette to mark crawlers as targets, and then Maggie and Frank would kill them to get her stats so that she could keep up. And it's just horrifying.
It is.
And it further adds context to what the clip we saw on Maestro's show, where the Carl's like trap hit Yvette and they killed her. Well, it's because one of the drawbacks of the ring is you cannot heal at all once you have marked a crawler until they are dead. And so Carl had escaped, could not be killed, and Yvette was never going to heal, which is why Maggie killed her. And it like makes it doesn't make Maggie redeemed in any way, but it like adds context to the choice to kill her. But yeah, it's just
the method of how she killed her, though, I still take umbrage with. I'm like, you could have killed her literally any other way except for like
Right.
strangling her. What the
Right.
fuck, Maggie?
Like you've had guns. Like why not just shoot
Gross.
her? Yeah.
There's not one good thing about
No.
this horrible woman and
Yeah.
this horrible man. But like this conversation that he has with Frank is very illuminating. And he talks about how like one of the things he's like, you don't know what it's like to have to take care of someone in this place. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
Carl's been doing that. Carl's been doing
Yep.
that this
Yeah.
entire goddamn time.
And this is
Day
why he's a
one.
mirror. He says, you don't have a kid in here
Exactly.
with you. Frank is wrong.
Uh
You
huh.
don't understand what that responsibility means. Carl kind of
Yes.
does, but Carl hasn't been put necessarily in this position because Donut is very willing to participate in the dungeon, whereas Yvette was not. So
Correct. Yeah. But
yeah,
also, like, yes, Donut is willing to participate, but like, oh God, like to say that like you don't know what it's like, okay, so there are a couple things like Carl a few times has the thought like, oh, I could leave. Donut would be better off maybe if she were alone or with someone else or whatever. Carl has these thoughts kind of like off and on over the course
yeah,
of the last few books. Like, is she better off with someone instead of me? But at the same time, Carl feels a very real responsibility for like taking care of not
he,
only the Meadowlark folks, but like other
yeah.
crawlers who cannot defend themselves or who don't have the same capability that he does. And then also Donut. Donut is his Donut's his partner, Donut's his daughter, Donut is his friend, Donut is it's
Well,
like
he also can't trust other people with Donut's care because don't trust people unless you
correct.
know their motivations.
Oh, thank you, Audette. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
big time. So this was like a really
yeah,
interesting
yeah.
character arc.
He had that line about like you don't understand when Carl kind of does. I don't think he quite, like I was saying, understands to the extent of what Frank has had to deal with to protect his child. But there's also something else really interesting he says, where he says he's talking about how Yvette was beautiful and a pacifist basically, and she was amazing in other ways. And then he says kids aren't always a product of their parents, but sometimes that doesn't matter. Sometimes parents can cast a shadow so thick you can drown in it. And it felt a little out of place in terms of like, what does this mean for Carl? And then you remember, oh,
Right.
yeah, Carl's mom and dad are completely fucked up.
Oh,
And
big
Frank
time.
talks about, and this is what I think further mirrors Frank, or makes Frank a mirror for Carl, is Frank talks about like he and Maggie's fucked up family dynamics, and how they're all messed up, but Yvette apparently like is meant to symbolize like coming out of a fucked up family situation kind of unscathed in terms of who your character is. Um, but Frank is also saying like sometimes it doesn't matter, and that shadow of a parent can fuck up a family. And I think that's him feeling guilty. I think he's projecting
Yes.
his guilt onto Yvette, even though like we know Yvette stood by her principles and would not kill. Anyway,
Right,
it's a
exactly.
very interesting scene. It's very beautiful, and Carl brings up a lot of the quotes from this scene throughout the rest of the series. Like he remembers things that Frank has told him
Yes.
in this moment.
And most importantly, I know we're not talking so much about loot right now, but like gives him one of the most valuable, incredible pieces of loot that a
Yes.
person can be given in the entire fucking dungeon for the remainder of his time there. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, it even without all the PvP stuff, it grants like a 5% buff to all stats.
Yes.
And that like
Yes.
they know they need to be farming percentage based stats, because once they get their base stats up, they just need to be getting percent. Yeah, it's yeah.
Big.
So yeah, there's a really great moment right at the end where, he locks eyes with Frank, and Frank is like, vengeance is mine, right as Carl takes the ring and says goodbye, Frank, and it is bone chilling. Ugh, gives me shivers every time I think about it. So
It's
yeah,
good.
So Zev, ironically, delayed their appearance on their next show because Zev says because of Donut's lap dance and your chat with Frank. They were the top two feeds in the world, and we're like, wait, what was
Yes.
happening?
What was going on at the penis parade? Yeah, but
yeah.
like when she comes out of the penis parade, she's got like a feather
button
boa
and yeah.
and like, but like the sledge has like a I like my sausages big or whatever.
Yeah, it's
button.
really funny. But she's also dead cold and is like, I think it's time to go, Carl.
Yeah. It's time for us to go. Yeah, she pulls him out of it, which I love. I love the way her relationship is developing with Carl at this point in the book. So yeah.
So their appearance gets delayed, but ultimately they get teleported to the production trailer as soon as they're both done. They are on a submarine now, like at the bottom of the ocean instead of boats on the surface of the ocean. This is a new safety precaution. Even the producers of shows don't know where crawlers are being green roomed now. And Donut says, Sledgy says he's still at the bar right now. And it's like, oh, Donut can text the sledge? I didn't even know NPCs could text crawlers. Okay.
And we learned that because of this, yeah.
Yeah. It's also interesting. Their UI is still working down here. They can still interact with their stats, their map. They can pull items in and out of their inventory. It's apparently because they are close enough to the zone like of the crawl, and they start interrogating one of the mechs robots, the little assistant bots in the trailer about it. And the robot is just like, it's because Borant's cheap, okay? And then the robot gets this like huge personality and judgmental moment. The fact it hasn't broken yet or bitten them in the ass is a testament to the very real existence of the concept of dumb luck. Like Borant is so cheap, it's amazing that it hasn't broken on them. Yeah. So they go on the show. They're on a show called Planet Beautiful, where they're recording like narration, like David Attenborough style, about different topics of Earth culture. Carl has multiple times throughout the book said, like, if it's bullshit, I'm not going to read it. Well, it's bullshit. He is doing voiceover work for the topic of human beauty pageants, whereas Donut is in a different sound booth reading on pet beauty pageants.
Going off script. I add?
Yeah. Well, so Carl is like, I'm not going to read this. I'm not going to read about how the women are trying to attract Chad class males, have babies with them, and then attract betas to help raise the children. It's really stupid and funny.
Jesus, it's so stupid. I do love. He's just like, absolutely not.
So,
and again, fun fact: if you listen to the Audible version of the the narration, you'll get a very small snip of not only Carl but Donut, and then also some Hecla in there, narrating some Norse mythology. It's super cool. So it's kind of like a commercial for the next book at the end of this book. But it's so fun to hear some of the shit that they say. Anyway, highly recommend getting the audiobook. Yeah,
there's some really great quotes in here about Donut, like bad talking cocker spaniels, and Carl's like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm telling the truth that needs to be told, Carl. I love how the producer gets really real with him. He's like, look, I have so many people up my ass. I really had good intentions with this show when I started it. I just like, can we please, like, I do genuinely want to preserve your culture. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Your rented slave labor doesn't want to participate the way you want me to. And he's like, I will not be sympathetic to you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really funny. So they go back to the green room, and we get more narration from Sledgy through Donut that Frank has been killed by Chris, who we know has not seemed like himself since he got his new like rock person race.
His personality's been off.
Yeah, it's been really different. Yeah, so we're just reminded about and like we see a new action, like not just from Brendan about how he has changed, but like we see he is PvP killing, which is not him. I think he was
That's
like
not Chris's
he
thing.
was
Yeah.
crying after their boss battle with the ball of swine.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So something is very different. Um, Carl finally has the chat with Donut about the PvP coupon book, and it's actually
Right.
quite short. I was surprised they didn't really spend that much talking, but true to form, I don't think they needed to. Donut's like, I got rid of it. It didn't feel good. I don't want to talk about it. And Carl accepts this,
Yep. Yes.
and he's like, okay, she's dealt with this in her own way. She reached out to Amani, she sought out resources and she's handling it.
Yep.
Okay.
Because she didn't want to talk to Carl about it, obviously. Like
Yeah.
it's something, that's not something she felt like she could go to him about because the player versus player coupon had his name on it. I wouldn't feel comfortable going to that would be like if I had a PvP coupon with my husband's name on it. I would go to someone else. I'd be like, what the fuck? I'm throwing this away, right? And they're going to be like, yeah, throw it away. And then I'd be like, cool, that was yes, that's the good decision. Like you just don't want to,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like you got to
Yeah.
have those, yeah. And I love that she's like, oh, Amani is a terrible gossip.
I know, it's really funny. Carl proceeds to steal a refrigerator from the trailer for something he found in the cookbook.
Steals a lot of stuff from the trailer. Yeah.
This comes up later, I think. The fact that like they've been getting all of these goodies and chats with Odette and now items from trailers. This is not something that lasts, at least for a bit. We'll see. But it's interesting to note that this is them benefiting from being a popular crawler again.
Yep.
Okay. Batista checks in. Their group is fucked. The Crabyad died, and half of them don't have hats. Carl advises them to get to the abyss and try and find like a secret passage the way he found one. I don't know if I actually brought that up before, but they found like a secret passage system under rocks or something. It is very strange. But he's like, this is the only idea I got, and I honestly can't help you right now.
Yeah.
I can't say them all. And then they open the door of the green room to return to their safe room, and Hecla and all of the sisters are in their safe room. Yeah. Motherfucker, Carl says. So
fucking Hecla.
Yeah. The next 4 chapters, 21 through 24, is kind of like the Brynhild's daughters arc. It is incredible, and I'm gonna try and fly through this as quick as possible. Chapter 21 is really just about like building up the tightrope that Carl has been walking kind of socially from a distance with regard to Hecla, and knowing that like with Odette's warning, she's up to something, and he needs to be very careful not to seem suspicious of her, and like save face while trying to avoid it. And this chapter does a really good job of building the tension. It like they're all in the room. He's surrounded by all of these women, which he's in the safe room, but they are all like Donut is so excited that they're all here. She is starstruck with Hecla. Hecla is built up as this massive like physical presence, even bigger than and much stronger than Carl. She also has this like fixer Eva, who is like a friend of Katya's, who came in the dungeon together or found each other really quickly. Katya is like really excited that they're here for her, and she's feeling really valued by the sisters for supporting her. And Carl is really just pigeonholed here, and
a little bit,
Chapter 21 really establishes that.
It becomes very clear that Carl knows that there's there's a plan in place with Hecla. He doesn't know exactly what it's going to be or what they're going to try, how they're going to try and force him into a situation, but he knows it's coming, and it comes immediately. in that they're trying to get to another station. They have this train, but the tracks are littered with these mobs that are suffering the DTs.
That will
But the
derail the
train that they
train.
have,
Yeah.
it'll derail the train. Exactly. The mobs that they're facing, the train that they have, they can't take it. So they're like, oh, could you please help us with this? Katya floats the idea, not floats, but like very clearly states, like, hey, this is how we're going to do it. So basically, she decides that she's going to become the cow catcher
The
for
snowplow.
the snow plow for the front of this train, using her unique class
Mm-hmm.
and her ability to shapeshift and everything. And Carl refers to it as the cheese in the trap. Like, this is, oh, they're coming to us for our help. How are they going to fuck us?
Well,
Um,
it's worse than that because he is like resigned to tell them no, we're gonna do our
yeah,
own thing. But then she's like, like I think someone in this group. It's Li Jun and Li Na and their friend Zhang, I
right.
think.
And
So
he's
it's
like,
like,
well,
fuck, this
fuck.
is
Yeah,
someone I know and care about, someone I can't walk
yeah,
away from because I'm incapable
exactly.
of not helping people that have a face that I know.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, dude. It's like he puts a name to a face and he's like, God damn it, I gotta help. So he knows he's gonna do it. What's worse though is that, like, this idea for her to be the cow catcher, Katya says, hey, it was my idea. I floated this. But then I have to wonder, like,
Yeah.
was she led to this decision, or did she really make
I
this decision on her
I
own?
I think
So
she
I don't
did.
know.
I think like they've been building Katya as becoming more confident, and she is been very clever with pointing out like flaws in Carl's ideas and like calling
I
shots and stuff, and being more
I don't
creative.
disagree with that. I don't disagree with that part of it. I think the part of it that I do that makes me feel like maybe part of her was led to this,
Mm,
um, is because one of obviously when this comes up, Carl is like, "Hey, this is a terrible plan." Donut's like, "Yeah, this sounds like a Carl plan. You're gonna die. Holy
yeah.
shit!" Um, like, meaning, this is a terrible plan. What the fuck? So, like, I think part of me feels like she was led to this point specifically because she's like, they came back for me. They care about me.
Yeah.
That means something. So, like, like,
Right. And then
maybe she
that.
feels like,
Okay,
yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your
No,
thought.
no, like, just maybe she feels like this is the only way I can be helpful to them.
Well, it's
This is the
also
only way
held
I
up
can. Yeah.
against the way Carl and Donut have been kind of thinking about her and using her more practically and
As a
pragmatically
tool.
as a
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
and how Carl has been telling her how she should change and not nurturing
Yes.
her, and
Yeah.
it's that those things like are biting them in the ass now for not like
A little
validating
bit.
her entirely. And
Yeah.
Katya even calls out Carl for being like a backseat driver. Um,
Yes.
yeah, and so it's like, oof, like maybe he could have had
She's not
a
wrong.
a better like platform for convincing Katya this was a bad idea if he had taken more time and nurtured that relationship a bit more. But then there's
Mhm.
also the fact that Hecla is a psychiatrist and is being extremely manipulative of
A
all these
master
women.
manipulator?
Uh-huh.
Fuck yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes. So, like, yeah, this comes to a head very quickly.
Yeah. Um
Um, yeah, go
yes.
ahead.
Um Also in this chapter, they come across a group of NPCs as they get on to their train that they're going to load up on for this plan.
Mhm.
And Carl, like Hecla, literally steps over NPCs and disregards them, while Carl like has a tender moment with one of them who's realizing his entire life is a lie. And Hecla
Yeah.
chastises Carl for worrying about something he cannot control. And he retorts, because he just learned that Hecla's a psychiatrist. He's like, "So how much do people pay for that advice?" And it's a fun way to end the chapter where he's been on the back foot, because it's him like attempting
Yeah.
to reclaim some sort of position of strength. uh I don't know if it really lands. I think he's definitely still in a position of shit
Yeah,
is
no,
hitting the fan, but he's
yeah,
trying.
absolutely. so outnumbered, but it's
Yeah.
nice that he's not buying into her bullshit. And I think maybe that's what that comment is. It's just like everybody else may buy into your shit, but I'm not buying what you're selling, bitch. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah,
So
and then
yeah.
yeah.
Chapter 22 is the plan in action. They get the train going. Katya is on the molded and shaped in a really funky way on the front of the train with skewers and a plow and like a scoop.
He is a cow
And
catcher.
yeah, and she's just impaling monsters while any monsters that don't survive the impalement are being shot by Hecla and Donut. Any monsters that make it in the front cabin are being killed by Eva and Carl. And to keep herself clear, Katya is pulling monster parts and bodies and even pools of blood in her scoop into her inventory, just constantly like pulling things in.
Trying to keep it clear, yeah.
Yeah, and she has a tab
Meanwhile,
labeled gross shit now in her inventory.
shit, yes. And like as she's hitting these mobs, they're just splattering, and like the front cabin of the train that they're on it's like filling with like blood and gore. It's like up to their knees.
Yeah,
just blood. Like they're just getting splattered. It's
they're
like
getting pressure washed with blood and guts.
Pressure washed, 100%, yes. Because in every couple, like every few paragraphs, Carl was like, because he's getting a mouthful of it. So like,
yeah, I think this whole scene works really well because it lets Katya be a really impressive actor and highlight her growth while she is also it creates a contrived situation where she is completely preoccupied. It is utter chaos. So it's really difficult for Carl to keep a tabs on thing, and we feel nervous through the whole chapter, not knowing like what's going to happen and when. And there's all these things they have to worry about, like the monsters. Katya is taking damage from the impalement, and also she seems to accidentally at one point drop and touch the the power line, like the power rail that's powering the train.
Goes unconscious.
So she goes unconscious.
Her health drops to like 1 or something crazy.
Yeah,
but
really
there's
low.
Fairy,
yeah, there's
like
a fairy sister or daughter that's supposed to be healing, and she is not fucking doing her job.
She's not doing a goddamn thing. Yeah.
And so we're like through the whole, this happens multiple times and we're like, okay, is this the moment? Is this the moment? What's happening? Why is Katya being like targeted, but not Carl? And it's really confusing because it's like Carl's expectations aren't being met. So our expectations aren't being met. What are we missing? What's going on?
Right. And again, like it happens so quickly. Like all of this happens over the course of like a couple of pages. Like, and we're just like, oh my God, Katya's almost dead again. Oh my God, like, okay, Carl heals her, then Donut heals her, then more bodies, more blood, more, you know what I mean? Like more bodies, and then her health drops again. She's unconscious. Like
she's at like 10% over and over.
Yeah.
And Carl's the one like healing her.
Yeah. Yes. And he's like, how often can you heal her before you have to like stop or whatever? Like when you run out of mana, and like he's trying to coordinate this, and it's very clear that like from the text and obviously like we learned this, but like nobody's doing anything without Hecla's say so.
Yeah.
Within this group.
Yeah.
Like this is obviously Hecla said, no, don't heal her. You know what I mean? So like, and we get this over and over again throughout this interaction, which again, couple pages, but like a lot of like damage happens. It's like very heavy battle, very tense. Exactly. And then we're through.
Yeah, they get through it for the most part. I think at one point we learn a little bit more about like how globally throughout the dungeon there's like soul generators creating monsters out of the by absorbing the souls of other monsters, and it's even more escalation happening, just not right here. But it's a great time to drop that knowledge because it just adds to this chaos. But ultimately we have this contrived situation where it's very confusing, it's chaotic. Carl is getting angry, and then it is Donut who catches something. With the sunglasses she received from her sponsor, she can see invisible, from Princess Donadia, she can see invisible things. So this is, I think, part of the like plan that Hecla contrived and created that Hecla did not account for Donut having these glasses because Hekla has shot Katya with an invisible, like, leeching arrow, which is why she keeps going down. Yeah, so Donut starts panicking and telling Carl there's an arrow in Katya. Hekla has started using a rage ability to fight monsters in the cabin and cuts off Eva's arm further at it, one of her forearms, which further adds to the chaos. They get Katya back in. She passes out. They pull out the arrow. It's a very special arrow that lowers the victim's health to a certain percentage and will not give the user credit for the kill if the crawler ends up or the target ends up dying. It's a PvP arrow, is what it is.
Yes.
Yeah. And Carl is confused, and we are confused. But things like the situation dies down. Everyone's like, we know what's going on, or we sort of know what's going on. And Carl's like, okay, let's de-escalate. And then Donut escalates, and she calls Hekla a fucking bitch and shoots her in the face with some magic missiles. It's so good.
Magic missile.
Yeah.
Carl's like, hey, just be calm. And she's like, yeah. And she fucking slams her in the fucking face with a magic missile.
Yeah.
And we get a really interesting response from Donut after Hekla's deception and betrayal are revealed.
Yeah, go for it.
And I don't know if we covered this in the previous chapters, but it was probably in like chapter 18 or 17, like leading up to this point. Carl has the conversation with B about how, and I think we did talk about this, B is like going to get rid of Donut and sell her and get 2 new kittens. And Carl's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, why do you need to sell Donut? Yeah,
why do you need to sell her? And like all Donut has ever been to B is a paycheck, is what it seems like. She doesn't really love her. She doesn't care about her as like another living creature.
Yeah,
exactly.
There's no dignity in it for B. Yeah.
No. So Donut at this point is like screaming, and she's like, "You tried to kill Katya, you fucking bitch!" And she just hits her in the face with a magic missile. And then like Donut kind of goes off, and she's like, why can't we trust anyone? Why can't we trust each other? She did nothing wrong, and you were trying to hurt her. She did nothing wrong, and you were going to get rid of her.
Yeah.
So
yes, this is very much a Donut chapter.
Absolutely. Donut is very much reacting to the, we didn't know up until this point that Donut was aware of what B's motivations were. We didn't know. We didn't know how much Donut remembered. We should, though, because like Donut picked up a lot from her time of just being a cat, even though she couldn't conceptualize and she was still a cat. Like all this time that she's been growing as in consciousness and intelligence, like she's been examining a lot of things about her life, and she realizes that B was going to sell her. So this betrayal of Hekla to Katya, Donut is like taking it real fucking hard, and she is very much projecting with B's betrayal to her, wanting to sell her to make money. Like B didn't love her. B was just using her, and she was going to replace her. So Donut is very much projecting at this point.
It's another mirror situation,
correct,
of Donut and B, Hekla and Katya.
What a fucking bitch Hekla is. Hekla's like, oh well, I made a mistake. No harm, no foul.
Hekla literally just like throws her hands up, takes out some cigarettes, and is like, anybody want a cigarette? And just starts smoking and is like, well, no harm, no foul.
No harm, no foul. I tried a thing and it didn't work out. Oh well. So, like, what a fucking presumptuous bitch.
Part of what really works in the scene and why this like so it hits like a truck because Donut is like it has subverted expectations. We thought Donut would have a hard time catching on to Hekla's betrayal because Carl's been worrying about that. Now Carl is like almost passive in this scene. He's just trying to de-escalate and is otherwise like he is not front and center of this scene. So Donut is the one freaking out, subverting our expectations. We learn Donut is aware of the nature of her and B's relationship. And we learn she is so sensitive to betrayal. And she is the one feeling the betrayal and not Katya because of the arrow adding like Matt Dinniman's so clever. He added like an amnesia element to the arrow.
Yes.
So like if you've been hit by this, you aren't going to be aware that someone has done this
You
to
were hit by it. You might lose like the last couple minutes. Like you won't know what's happening. Yeah.
So Katya's just confused and really passive here, and it's Donut who gets all the action and the rage. While Hecla is also calming down. And so it really lands really well. And then we get another actor that we weren't expecting who comes out, and that is Eva. The fixer and Katya's friend. Carl like steps in and is like, hey, so why are you trying to hurt Katya and not me? And Eva steps in and is like, we were using Katya to get you to overreact, Carl. We wanted
to see that famous temper come out.
Yeah. The temper that they have been seeing in the recaps that are a curated, edited version of Carl.
Yep.
And so they don't know the real Carl. I mean, Hecla did get to see him for herself on Maestro's show, or no, not Maestro's show.
Maybe that
on
it was the
Ripper
wonton, but like maybe that wasn't the best because Carl did incite a lot of like civil unrest,
right? But they've underestimated him.
They have underestimated him. But then we also learned that Ava. So one of the things that we know is that Ava came into the dungeon with Katya.
Yes.
And Katya was just kind of left behind to be with Carl because for whatever reason Ava separated from her or whatever. But we learned that Ava very much was.
Yeah. Ava has a temper. We learn much later in the chapter, but she starts re-escalating things. She tells Katya like, get away from those two, come with us. She starts mocking her because she's confused. It's kind of funny because Katya's amnesia and confusion could be attributed to the bolt, but Eva's treating her like it's her character that's the problem. She's like, you're an
so
idiot.
Confused. You never know what's going on.
Nobody likes you because you're confused. This is why your husband left you for that student. This is why you got denied to adopt someone. And there's just all this pain of Katya's history coming out that we just weren't aware of. And this is why I left you behind on the third floor. Nobody likes you because you're always confused. This was us trying to make you useful. So we just have these like chapter and a half of really high emotional tension and narration of confusion and then like this explosion of emotion. And then the tone and perspective of the scene shifts. It becomes Carl like talking about like what happened next was this. Like he's talking about it like it has already happened. And it's just this very matter of fact, like almost objective delivery of a murder that takes place. We're just kind of taken out of the heat of the moment to focus on like, here are the consequences and outcomes of what happened next in the scene. And it's like, it shifts the perspective from the emotional consequences to like the crawl level wide consequences. And it feels like when like in a movie or show, like action kicks off, but the scene goes silent and you just see like a montage.
Yeah, a montage of murder.
That's what it feels like in the book. And it is a culmination of Katya's like rise in agency and power. Because what happens is Katya has an ability she doesn't like to use. It's called Rush, and it makes her the Kool-Aid man. But it's a bit unpredictable. And then I'm just going to read the like last little bit of what happened. And that's what happened this time. Katya screamed something incomprehensible, and she activated Rush. She was aiming at her former friend Eva. She missed her by inches. Instead, she inadvertently became the first crawler of the season on this season of Dungeon Crawler World to kill one of the top 10 and claim a bounty. In this case, it was Hecla, the Amazonian shield maiden. It's just it's so matter of fact and just blunt. The current number 2 in the game, whom she splattered against the interior wall of the train, thus earning herself a bounty of 500,000 gold. It's like, Carl, why are you being so like scientific about your explanation of this?
Because
it lands for the reasons I described. It's so good.
I do love this delivery of it because it's like Hecla's passing doesn't deserve more than that. Like Hecla is such a piece of shit. It's like, no, yeah, let's just it's a passing comment. We're not going to give it more than its due. It doesn't need
it's
that.
it's like
She fucking dies.
un
She
it,
gets smashed like a
it's
bug on a windshield.
it like it denies us the satisfaction of the emotion of the moment to punctuate other elements of what is happening. And
Yes.
that is like, and
So
in that
good.
moment, just before all hell broke loose all over again, I finally noticed Katya's level. She'd been level 24 when she formed herself into a cowcatcher. When she fell back from the wall, skull forming over her head, a special golden skull, I saw that she was now level 37. 13
Hell
levels in a few
yeah.
hours. Oh my god.
That's my girl. That's my girl. Fuck yeah, dude. Honestly, like yes.
Oh, it's
And like
so good.
without that, like Hecla was the architect of her own demise. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like
it's
without that, without Katya having like killed all of those mobs the way that she had, she wouldn't have been powerful enough to smash her like a bug on a windshield. But like, oh well.
yeah.
Like how oh man, like the thing that I love the most about this is that Hecla wouldn't she didn't raise a hand to defend herself. She had no idea this was happening. She thought
Yeah.
for sure, like, yeah, like Ava and Katya will probably fight or whatever. Like she tried to de-escalate Ava, but not really. And like I love the fact that it just came with no warning and
I
like very
know.
little fanfare. It was delicious.
The one warning was this one line where as Eva is like mocking Katya, Hecla tries to de-escalate and is like, Ava, mind that temper of yours.
Right?
Which comes with like an extra layer of goodness because we know that Hecla is Katya or is Hecla is
Her
Eva's
therapist.
psychiatrist or psychologist or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. Oh my god, it's insane. It's so
So
good.
good.
Uh, so yeah, the last chapter of this kind of arc, I would have called it breakdown because
Yeah.
after hell breaks loose and they basically end up like fighting with some of the daughters really quickly, and then they like, oh my god, Donut has this amazing move where she basically clockwork second chances Hecla to attack the daughters themselves, which they are
Fucking
stunned by.
amazing.
They basically secure the engine room and lock the door. They don't like the daughters can't get in because it's requires a key.
Hmm.
So and they had showed up to the train station to pick up like 1,000 crawlers who needed to get evacuated. They're all
Yep.
loading onto the train while this is happening, which is nuts.
Amazing.
And Carl has
He's
to
like,
decide.
he's like, fuck, do we leave them here?
He's like, do I
save them?
disconnect
What
the
do we do?
engine and leave them all behind so that we
Yes.
can get away?
Oh,
And
so
then
much.
the tension is winding down even though it's tense outside the car. Katya starts to have like a an emotional breakdown.
Yeah.
Immediately the daughters of Brynhild are breaking apart, like the group is disbanding,
They're
and
disbanding.
everyone in the Iron Tangle, like the entire system is breaking down and getting worse. So like every white thing and everyone is breaking down all at once.
Yep.
It's really great. We just like kind of see like let's see, Thifa the healer is still in the compartment they find, and they like grab her. It really comes back to me on the first floor with the goblin rev up
Oh
managers,
yeah.
the
Rev up.
two fairies.
Hmm.
They like grab one of those fairies and kind of like barter with it. It's the same thing. They grab this healer
It feels
fairy
similar.
girl.
Yeah.
And
He's
Donut's
we just
like,
need to
I
talk
will,
to you.
and Donut's like, I will catch you. I've done it before. And they're basically like, come down here and talk. We want to show you that this was necessary because Hecla betrayed you. And like shows her the bolt, and Silpha, the healer, starts to waver, but is ultimately like, I just want to go be with my literal daughters on the other side of the door. So they let her out.
Yeah.
And like we learned that the daughter's already disbanding through her.
Yep.
Katya managed to grab Hecla's legendary repeating crossbow, which Carl is like, Katya, I'm going to kiss you. She laughed. She sounded just as exhausted as I felt. Not without taking a shower first, you're not. It's really cute.
It's sweet. I do love the description. Okay, so like
Oh my god.
like the description of the crossbow. Like I'm not going to get like super into it, but
I
like
can
one of the
summarize.
yeah, do it.
It's a crossbow of a god who
Yes.
hates the male-dominated high elf court,
Yep.
and it can only be used by women.
Yep. But for every woman in your party, the crossbow like benefits, increase
The
by such and
damage
such
and
percentage.
attack speed, yeah. Up to
Yeah, so
30
like
women in the party, yeah.
exactly. So like we were looking at Brynhild's daughters like, oh, she's a protector of women, but the reason why she
Mm,
was surrounding herself with women was just because it made her her crossbow more powerful.
right.
It wasn't a desire or a need to protect her fellow crawlers in the way that, Carl has been with the people that he's become close with. It very much is just like, oh, my crossbow is more powerful if I have more women in my party. So yeah,
Right.
why don't we just throw this other person into the party, and if you die then there will be another woman to take your place and whatever, like, so
Yeah.
uh
It's
what a
it's ironic because Hecla was
yes,
kind of being like a mother figure to all of these women and was
and they
not
were very
taking the
like, yeah,
responsibility of caring for them seriously because she was simply using them. But she was putting on like the mask of being a parent, basically, to manipulate them. Uh, more parenting bullshit, more found family
I know,
bullshit.
I
It's so
know, I
good.
know, but it's good, it's
My
good.
favorite is the right when Carl picks up the crossbow, it says, "Warning, you have a dick," because
You have a penis, you cannot use this. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
so funny.
So
Okay,
good.
so things calm down. Eva gets away. They reconnect with Li Jun, Lina, and Zhang. They fist bump, form the network,
Yep.
text chat. Um, they learn that all across the floor, crawlers are forming really large groups and working together to defend stations from constant waves and streams of monsters spewing out of the soul crystals from the train
Yes.
yards and and basically just have to hold out until the stairwells open. But things are like getting worse and worse and worse because the things that are dying are weaker and making stronger things. Um, and
Yeah.
at the end of this like entire chapter where everything's breaking down as I described, Carl,
Mhm.
this is the I think last week I said Carl had resolved that he was going to save everyone. I was wrong. That was not the moment
This
last
is the
time.
moment.
This is the moment that
Yeah.
Carl's like, fuck it, we're heading to the end of the line, we're going to save Batista's 400 crawlers, we're going to save them each and every one. And
Every
it's
single
just kind of
one.
like this tone shift of like Carl is feeling inspired by the betrayal and all of the like hurt and pain among like crawlers fucking each other over. And it feels like he's doing this both to help everyone, but also make a statement like of values. Like
We
he is
also get a cute
fighting. Yeah.
scene with Katya and Donut too. Like they're talking to each other while he's coming to this decision, and
Yes.
he's like, "Oh, I'm going to
Yes.
save every fucking person," and they're giggling to each other, and it's like, okay, well, we're gonna, we're probably gonna die, but we might as well do it doing something worthwhile and saving everyone. We already knew that
Yeah.
this was what you were going to decide.
The
We knew before you knew, Carl. Like,
the start of
so
the next
yeah.
chapter. Seriously, Carl? Donut continued. We just helped save these guys. How are we going to help everyone at the end of the line? I have no idea, I said as I moved back to the train's controls. But I won't try it if you guys don't think we should. Donut sighed. She whispered something to Katya. They both started laughing. What?
Yeah.
I asked. What's so funny? You're going to get us killed one way or the other, Carl. It might as well be for a good cause.
Yeah, exactly. We get like a great
Aw,
moment
they
between
love
that.
their Carl.
I like seeing I like seeing Katya and Donut bonding also, like as peers. Like it's because we very rarely like get to see Donut outside of the context of Carl. Like it's usually Carl's interactions with Donut or him watching Donut like
Yeah.
dance on the dance floor or whatever. Like we don't get to see a lot of like Donut just sort of independently having a conversation like where Carl can't hear what's going on or
Yeah.
doesn't know what they're talking about. So like I like seeing this. This was nice.
This was, yeah, they're like, it's This next set of 4 chapters, 25 through 28, I called like the end of the line arc because it's like their rescue mission to go to the end of the line and help Bautista's group. But this chapter 25 I called Home Sweet Home because like it develops the tone of like Katya is here to stay. Like we have these moments of them like giggling and laughing and like getting over all of this bullshit that just happened, and they go back to their safe room and it sets in like Katya is going to stay. She will remain here. She is one of us permanently now. And it's such a good feeling and really cute.
It is, yeah. It's like, and they're just like, oh man, like again, and this becomes kind of like a thing where Carl's like, oh my god, like there's this other person in the group she's in our group. I can trust her now. That Hecla has been taken out of the equation. She's someone else I can rely on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like taking some of the burden off of him. Like he's not completely fucking alone anymore. You know, like just realizing that there's like another person out there. And then I think, was this a chapter that Mordecai also woke up?
25?
Like,
no,
or no, what was it?
No, here, let me go over some of the things that happen in 25. It basically 25 is like just we get the sweet feeling, but also a bunch of bits start going. They collect a bunch of hats before they take off so that they can give them to the people at the end of the line so that they can go through the portal. Donut starts being like, could we just sell all of these hats? Hey, if we figure out a way to save all the people without the hats, can we sell them? And Carl's like, okay, fine, whatever. But our priority is saving people. It's really funny. They also, being that they were just covered in blood, they like track a bunch of blood into their safe room, and it's just a lot. But we get the like sweet moment of like, this is home, and Katya's a part of it permanently. They get some loot. Katya gets the wrestling belt that doubles the force that she puts into anything that she charges. Yes. And I love the description. It says, you might want to take this off before you plan on getting busy with someone.
Perfect.
We get a recap. It's all about Hecla and Katya's story. It is curated to make Katya look murderous. Carl's like, welcome to the club.
Yep.
The bit is continuing. Yep. Zev appears and is like, great, Katya, you're a part of the crew now. We've had to renegotiate Odette's contracts, but you need to be more zippy. I'll tell you what, I said. Right. Katya, I'll give you a zip lesson right now. Okay, repeat after me. I want you to say, go fuck yourself, Zev.
Fuck yourself, Zev. Yeah.
Which is funny, but there's a moment where like we realize, like they notice that something is off with Zev. Zev is not being her chipper self, and she's not responding normally to this. And we learned that basically Hecla's PR manager, now that Hecla's gone, is like making a play to get them as like to become their PR manager instead of Zev. And there's a bunch of like Bloom party politics coming up here, which is really interesting and is setting up another arc later. We also learned that because they were all chatting with like around the Hecla situation and not saying things out loud, that it was bad TV basically, and now chats are going to be made public for a fee to viewers. Okay, so I don't think you asked when Mordecai comes back. I don't think that happens for a bit. Let's see.
I thought that was like
chapter 26 is the Ballad of Growler Gary. They find this drunk, sad Knoll bartender who's an NPC who like cannot die permanently and keeps respawning because he's important.
He's important.
They find okay, so I'm gonna truncate this as much as I can really fast because it's like it's an interesting scene, but it's not that important. They find these things called interdiction carts, which are basically like the repair team carts that the Tangle employees are like. They are employees sent to repair collisions, and they have carts that go down the line and have portals on the end to basically just like clean up anything and send it to the abyss. Anything that is like on the tracks that shouldn't be. So they now have a way of getting up and down the lines really quickly, but they require hobgoblins to operate. So this NPC Growler Gary is a Knoll. He's a Knoll, and they need Knoll operators because the Iron Tangle is racist of hobgoblins. Basically, is the whole bit. So they cut off Growler Gary's hands multiple times in order to send multiple pairs of interdiction carts down various tracks to clear the line and then stick a portal in front of everyone at the end of the line to teleport them to a train yard. It's very complicated, but basically they're sending a mobile portal down the line to clear the track and another one behind it to send the stuck crawlers to the front of the line. So they have to cut off Gary's hands in order to operate these interdiction carts. It's very sad for Growler Gary. He's a sad drunk Knoll bartender who just wanted to help his friends. He gets very sad and scared when they keep coming back to take his hands. But eventually they tell him why they need to do it, and he bravely allows them to do so that he can feel useful.
He wasn't able to, it's a really weird it's very fucked up. But yeah, like he wasn't able to save his friends. They're like, but we need you. And he's like, you need Growler Gary? And after that, he's like, yep, cut my hands off, kill me, whatever. Like he's totally fine with it.
Yeah, so and he does it in exchange for alcohol.
Like, yep, makes perfect sense. I think it's something like 17 times or something.
Yeah, it's a lot. At the start of the next chapter, Donut admits that he's really brave, especially for a dog, because he's a Knoll, which is part dog, I guess. We will never see Donut compassionate towards a dog ever again. We learn Bautista and the crew are surviving but taking losses. It's going to take 8 to 10 hours for the interdiction carts to reach them, but it has given them a chance. Carl adds alarm traps onto them to notify the teams at the end of the line that they're coming. They take bets on what song will play from the alarm traps. Bautista bets on Eye of the Tiger. Donut bets Wonderwall by Oasis. This is her love of music coming out again. It's Physical by Olivia Newton-John. I can't wait for the TV version of this because they're going to have to pay royalties for all of these songs.
I'm very excited.
Very funny.
I think we could talk about that for a million years. Let's keep going. Let's push through.
They encounter their first third stage DT monsters who are charging towards them. They end up hiding from them because they are worried they're so strong. They check in with Elle, who merged with the daughters and former daughters and Lee Jun's group. There is a really large explosion that shakes the whole dungeon. These happen periodically throughout the rest of the novel. Every time they happen, everyone checks in and texts Carl and assume that he blew something up. It was apparently...
fair assumption.
What's that? It is a fair assumption, yes. But apparently a party of like 400 crawlers went to go check on a generator, like one of the soul crystals, and it blew up. So it killed them all, but it stopped spawning monsters there. They end up fighting a stage 3 DT monster. It's really strong. They kill it, but they aren't awarded XP because when it dies, it hatches a bunch of level 1 Krakarin crotch dumplings. Basically, the stage 3 DTs, the monsters have been taking Krakarin drugs, and when they get to this point, they have little baby Krakarins in them. And they are basically sea monkeys that start growing very quickly. We get a ton of Krakarin lore. It's really interesting.
And then like based on like I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, please go for it.
I was gonna say, like, this is like the whole thing with Mordecai, like not being able to tell him about the Krakarin monster that they faced in the other floor, like the first floor that they were in. Like, this is the resurgence of that. Like, you can't really talk about things that you might see come up again in the dungeon, and this is the resurgence of that. And I don't know if this is the end of the Krakarin saga, or if we might see her come back again.
I assume she's coming back. Yeah.
I mean, I do too, kind of, like, with the build-up with this one. But then, like, it's shortly after this that like, Katya, like, figures out, like, what she refers to as the noodle.
Yes. So that actually comes, I think, in the next arc. but like Katya is continuing to say like, I think we're missing something. I think we're missing something about the shape of the dungeon. And like every time more stuff develops in the dungeon, she becomes more and more confident that they are missing something. So at the end, so they sent all these interdiction carts. It turns out one of the carts never made it. And they need to go drive down to the end to go help that crew. They as they're driving down the line, they're talking about all the different colored lines, including lots of colors they've never heard of, but Katya knows them because she is familiar with art. They make fun of her. Katya teases Carl back by sticking out her tongue, and then that tongue forms a little hand that sticks up and flips him off. And it just is both funny, but demonstrates Katya is really making her ability her own. And is
more powerful.
Yeah. Even though she's not being like dungeon powerful here, it's just very clever and funny. Let's see. They near a mimic station, which attacks them and gets teleported to a train yard. As you know, because they're riding an interdiction cart that has a portal at the front of it. So they whoopsie daisy teleport a mimic to a train station at the front of a line. And this is where they had sent most of Batista's crew and where they were going to send the rest of Batista's crew that is still stuck. They meet up with Batista. There's more chatting and learning about portals while Katya talks to Batista alone. We learn more about mimics through Elle's manager. They're very, very scary. Basically, don't fuck with them. We need to teleport Batista's crew somewhere else. So they find a portal in the abyss to a different train yard and hand out all of the hats that they had collected. Donut is very upset about the millions of gold worth of hats, and tells Carl that he needs to demand them back. They ended up saving a grand total of over 1,400 crawlers with their interdiction carts, and 600 needed the hats because more crawlers kept arriving while this plan was being put in motion.
Right.
They get everyone out. They get to the train station. Applause breaks out for them. And every single one of the crawlers lines up to bow to Donut and return the hat.
Right. I love that scene.
It's so cute. It's adorable. And it's just sort of like a really feel-good moment of like the crawlers finally coming together and not fucking each other over. Yeah. So I think we get to the point where Mordecai comes back pretty soon. Let's see. They learn about Batista's secret weapon, the thousands of Beanie Babies he got from Mrs. Quill. That he rips their tag like a grenade and uses them. He tells us about that. What else here? Carl remarks that the number of survivors seems higher than expected right now, and Katya still thinks that something is missing and that something big is going to happen before the end of the floor. She specifically is like, I cannot understand how there are only 6 station mimics. Like there's too many lines for there to only be 6 station mimics. They get cruising around, sending monsters to the abyss on their interdiction cart. They get a bunch of loot. Let's see here. We learn more about Katya's sponsor, Princess Formidable, the youngest sister of former Prince Maestro and Prince Stalwart. They kind of recap. We don't know if she's friend or foe. We don't know the family dynamics. But right at that moment, Katya opens her loot box from Princess Formidable. It is a crossbow bolt that if you shoot it into a god's eye, it will remove their invulnerability for 15 seconds. That seems like a clear indicator that Princess Formidable is not a fan of her brother, who is sponsoring a god.
Not a fan. But we don't know that yet. But seems like a real good gift to have.
Yes.
So
yeah. There's more recap footage that we see while they go into their safe room. There is a crazy edit of Carl sicking Mungo on Growler Gary without explanation, and no footage of the rescue, so they're still painting Carl terribly. And they start to wonder if like all the other crawlers that they've seen who are horrible, like Lucia Marr, is that also like propaganda? Maybe, Carl thinks, but Odette's assistant called her a psycho, and then there was also the Desperado incident and the threat that she would come kill Donut, so who knows. Katya, meanwhile, during the recap, is cleaning all the blood that they had tracked in before. She's just about to finish up when there is an announcement. Cascadia says, wow, the death count's really low. It has us rethinking the next floor. Haha. Terrible. It's just awful. There's a veiled warning that all the crawlers are going to be overwhelmed by this time tomorrow. There is an announcement that anyone who's in a party right now, that's who you're going to arrive at the next floor with. And then effective immediately, you may not store liquid in your inventory without a container. And this is where Mordecai reappears, cursing up Chaco the Bard, realizing he's been gone for a week. He says, yeah, we need to catch up. And then, quote, and this is really funny on my screen, on my Kindle app, because this next line was at the very end of the page. It just says, Katya exploded, end of line, end of paragraph. Blood erupts from Katya, and it turns out that it was her emptying all of the blood that she had picked up during her cowcatcher episode. Yeah. So everything is now covered in blood again, except Katya. The system somehow like decided to keep her clean. And Donut has the best line.
Exploded out of her, yeah.
Yeah, Donut has the best line here. Really, Katya, if you needed to borrow a sanitary napkin, just ask. Unbelievable. Okay, so the next two chapters are really confusing because there's just so much going on in the dungeon that's really complicated and confusing. But ultimately, what I found really funny was that they decided against their better judgment that they just must have a cleaner bot upgrade for their safe space because they cannot deal with the amount of blood. Yeah, they just no words are said. They just walk out and buy it. Yep. They catch up with Mordecai. He apologizes. He's like, we need to go over. He clocks the ring that Carl has, tells him he must take it off, and starts like threatening him. He like paints a picture of how the ring is really an item that's meant for like the factions, and how they collect them as soon as they like crawlers arrive with them at the 6th floor. So it's just painting a target on his back. Mordecai hits Carl, and Carl is reminded of his father, who's physically abusive. Mordecai then tries another logical approach and says, hey, remember on the 3rd floor when all of your magic items got activated? Imagine marking a crawler that you didn't want to mark and then not being able to heal until they're dead. Is like an example of that. Yeah. And he's like,
one of the things too, like after he hits Carl, like there's a moment where he's like kind of horrified that he's done that.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of like interesting. It wasn't like Mordecai was in his feelings at that moment. And really, like, it wasn't like a, you dumbass, but like, it was a, you dumbass kind of a moment. But I don't know. He had no intention of hitting Carl, and he was horrified that he did.
Yeah. Well, and Carl like narrows his eyes at him and also remarks to himself, like, if he had hit me any harder, I think he would have been teleported away.
Probably, yeah.
Or put in timeout again. So Mordecai kind of like is like, all right, well, think logically. If it gets activated by an effect, and also, you know what? If you don't get rid of it, I will tell Donut to leave you as soon as we get to the 6th floor. And Carl is just kind of like browbeaten and takes it off annoyed and warns Mordecai never to touch him again. It's a really tense moment, and it's not the only time we get kind of like a father-son-ish dynamic. I don't think they have a father-son dynamic. Like they're both like mature and old, but like Mordecai isn't it like a mentor to them. He's kind of like he's a good mentor, but sometimes they like disagree on things and it gets really tense. And this is just
You
another
get
moment
the
of that.
like without Mordecai ever coming out and saying that he gives a shit about them, like you get the impression that he really does give a shit about them. So like yeah, there's a quality or like a level of friendship there that isn't really explicitly stated.
Yeah. Um they catch up with Mordecai next about like the shape of the tangle, and he's like, oh, these lines are in the form of the syndicate logo. Yeah, it's all just like a big political stunt about the Krakaren, which is based on a real creature that's a collective mind called the Apothecary that is served by a goat race called the Plenty. The Plenty invented the like modern tunneling system for viewing video live around the galaxy. It used to take fucking forever to translate video feed everywhere. It winds down to like Borant is very racist towards the Plenty because they are butthurt that the Plenty replaced Borant's old streaming technology with a new, faster streaming technology. And it's just a metaphor
He
for how
likens it.
bad
Yeah.
they think the Plenty will be and the Apothecary will be for the galaxy. It's a political
And they
cartoon.
liken it to like the person who invented television was hated by the person who invented radio, and the person who invented like the telephone was hated by the person who invented the telegraph. It's like whoever comes along and replaces the dominant technology is the new enemy. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just lots of learning and catching up with Mordecai, which is fun. It's interesting. And then it all kind of comes to a head with how the rest of the tangle is going to look when they realize that there is an upside down to everything. Katya is like, hey, can they use anti-gravity to like flip everything, and like half the floor is actually upside down on the like sharing the floor, but it's like upside down. And he's like, oh yeah, Mordecai says like, yeah, that's a great way to save space. They do that all the time. And she's like, okay, I think everything's upside, like got an upside down. And Carl realizes that means that there is going to be stuff entering into tracks from spaces that they didn't anticipate them coming from. And at the start of chapter 31, when everything starts going all out, he warns everyone that they need to abandon all stairwell locations. There is a bunch of crawlers that push back. And then suddenly there's a system message that like the Iron Tangle has been betrayed by the Krakaren. Use the emergency escape tunnels. Get out of there. And then the Krakaren start pouring through new passages right as they figured it out, but it's too late. Which is just like the feeling we've had, like that nagging feeling we've had the whole book. Like Carl and Katya feeling like they're missing something and that they've been like learning things too late. It just comes to a head here. And it is just like shit is hitting the fan everywhere.
They do send the message out, but like again, like you said, like people are resistant to it. So like a lot of people are able to get away from the stairwells, but then inevitably the ones that decided to stay and they're like, you're full of shit, Carl.
Yeah.
They're like, oh no, we're being attacked.
Yeah. And then someone's like,
yeah,
he warned you, dumbass.
Exactly.
I think it's Gwen. I think Gwen is the person who calls out the other crawler for being a dumbass.
I do like Gwen.
Gwen is a character we will meet in formally in the next book.
In the next book.
Yeah.
She's great.
So Carl's team is also attacked by Krakaren, but they cleverly had hung up an interdiction cart right above the like kind of the spot, the secret passage that opens up. They hung a portal, so basically the Krakaren just fall into this portal and get yeeted to the abyss. So they are safe for the moment. It's really cool. And then Carl gets thinking about how the soul crystals, like how they spawn stuff and have to like absorb the souls of dead creatures and how they can get overloaded. including when the thousands of Krakaren, Crotchling, Dumpling, or whatever's are formed when the third stage DT monsters die. So Carl basically conceives of this notion like, we need to overload these soul crystals. Right as everyone's like, we're all taking heavy losses over here. And Carl's like, well, I'm not going to go help you, but I'm going to try and solve everything. So yeah, that is kind of the big brain idea that Carl and Mordecai kind of conceive of as we head into the final 3 chapters of the finale here, which is there's not a lot of like huge theme to talk about, but it's just really fun and exciting stuff that happens. And that's like, it's true of the whole last arc there of them kind of like figuring out what's going on. It's like, oh yeah, we learn about the Plenty and we learn Borant's motivations and more of the like intergalactic politics happening. But yeah. So okay. So chapters 32 through 34 are really fun. I know 32 is. Oh, go ahead.
I do want to just say we get to meet Prepotente.
Yes, that is chapter 32, which I have titled. Yes, I thought it was 31. No, 32, which I titled Colossal Dolt is my name for this chapter. Yes, so Carl suspects the stronger the Krakaren Crotchling, the bigger the burden on the soul crystal when it dies. Li Jun, Li Na, and Zhang volunteer to help them on their mission to go overload a soul crystal. We like get to see a lot of their abilities and their racial choices, and they're just awesome. It's really badass. Li Na is Li Jun's sister, and she's just like really intense and smart, and like is a really good mirror of Carl, and like because they think very similarly and are both really very clever, but Carl thinks that because she's so intense and he's so intense, they would not get along very well, which is very funny. Their plan is to get a province boss, one of the station mimics, to attack a cart and get teleported to the abyss so that it will kill a bunch of monsters that are trapped there. And they are on their way to go provoke a province boss. They manage to get the province boss to attack their cart, and it works. The province boss gets teleported away. And then they are greeted by another crawler. Your favorite crawler, Shannon.
I love Prepotente.
Yes, Prepotente.
I love him.
Is the goat man, one of Miriam Dom's many goats, but this one has become sapient like Donut. And he greets us by saying, Carl, I should have known such a colossal fuck up could only be perpetrated by such a colossal dolt. Hello, Prepotente, I said. The goat creature screamed, suddenly and unexpectedly, causing me to almost jump out of my skin. There was no reason for it. And this is Prepotente. He screams a lot, randomly, like a goat. He bleeds.
It's so perfect. It's so good.
It's so good.
Like, he's just so like, I will kill you. I will find you in the night, and I will murder you. Like, he's ornery. He's a goat.
He's an ornery goat.
Damn it, I love him.
Something that's really interesting about Prepotente, and we definitely see a lot of this more in a future book. He's also very childlike, like Donut, because of how young he is as a sapient creature. And, you know, we have seen little flashes of it, and we see a little flash here, and it will definitely come up a lot later. But one of the ways we see it here is like he happily greets Donut and is like, we should get a drink sometime and chat about being the two sapient animals from Earth. And then he's like, okay, what the fuck? Me and Miriam Dom, she pops out. We were about to kill that boss before you teleported it away. What the fuck? And he like mocks and threatens Carl. And then Miriam Dom shows up and just whacks him on the head and is like, be nice. Apologize to Carl, Pony. She calls him Pony. So cute. He refuses at first, and she patiently waits and says, you will apologize. And then he's like, all right, but if you give me a kiss. And it's so childlike. It's so adorable. And
very
so
sweet.
weird. And then he apologizes and he gets a kiss and they leave to go find another boss. And it's very brief, but we've interacted with them and Carl knows that we need to stay the fuck away from them.
Yep, absolutely.
But Donut likes them. Donut is starstruck.
Yep.
So we get back to the mission. There's lots of desperate cries for help in their chats. Carl is telling himself, "You will not break me." And they need to. So the plan kind of worked, but they aren't getting the eruptions of soul crystals that they need. So they realize we need to send a cart with a big bomb into the abyss. Oh no, they didn't send a mimic. They sent a different type of boss. See, this is what's confusing is there's like 10 different types of ghouls and like 4 different types of bosses. Anyway, so it's not working. They want to send a mimic through now because it's bigger and badder and will do more damage. But the problem is that the mimic they teleported into the train station, it's the big open train station. So they could use the cart to approach and try and teleport it, but it's got these tentacles and they would be exposed and it's too risky. So it is right as they're trying to figure out what to do and aren't sure that they summon some mantars, the engineers, and Carl gets a new idea. He wants to use his gauntlet to summon Gruul, and right before it summons Gruul, yeet it through the portal at the last second to go fight the mimic, and then use the other mantar, summon it again, and throw that one in to go to the abyss. So he's like, teleport one to the train station to fight the mimic because we want to kill the mimic, and then teleport the second one to the abyss.
To kill all of the monsters that are sitting in the abyss and not dying. Yeah.
So they attack the mantars. Lina is a badass chain user and uses it to like grapple and restrain them. They start punching it. They yeet it through right as it's activating, but at the last second, it grabs Carl and pulls him through the portal too. And then we get chapter 33, which I have titled Carl and Company versus Gruul, aka Maestro. So,
man, how many times can one guy get his ass kicked by the
so funny. He's like a shitty heel. It's so funny.
Yes.
So this is really bad for Carl because Carl has been pulled into a portal where Gruul, a massive Godzilla-sized god, has been summoned and is invulnerable, as well as the station mimic. And he gets like kind of the boss intro, except it's not a boss fight. It is what's called a death challenge, where 2 bosses are competing to kill a crawler first. We later learned during the epilogue that there's a lot of betting. Like this type of event involves a lot of betting by viewers on what will be the outcome. And that is what is interesting about this. For Carl, it is, I need to get the fuck out of here. I must survive. So it's a level 90 city boss, a Mimic Rex, with 23,000 kills so far, versus the level 250 invulnerable Gruul, sponsored by Prince Maestro. This is us learning that Maestro survived, that he was not on the boat of his brothers that was destroyed. He was in fact already in the dungeon. And Carl sees Donut charging ahead on Mongo across the train station to reach them. Oh, that's so cute and so horrifying.
Yes, it's one of those moments. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff that happens.
Yes.
Like while he's falling, again, this is one of those instances where like a lot of things happen in a very short amount of time, like literally just like one chapter.
Yes,
it's several pages and
it's
so
just
much happens
nonstop. Yeah.
So like one of the things that we see while he's like falling into the open maw of this fucking station mimic is Donut and Mongo charging into the fray. Donut's like, that's my man's. I'm coming for him.
That's my dad.
That's my dad. Katya is not far behind. And then we get Ellie coming in.
Yes.
and fucking like tearing roll Grawl up or whatever, like
Yeah,
tearing the maestro up.
it's
And like
so good.
in the moments while this is happening, you're just like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. And it's so incredible. But like I have to comment on like what I felt after I read that. And it was just like Carl has people. Carl
Yes.
has people who love him, who depend on him,
Yes.
who who will who will risk themselves to save him, even though that's Carl's nightmare. Carl's
Yeah.
like, I'll kill myself. I'll kill
This is
myself. I'll save everybody. That's what I do.
this is
And he
almost
has no
certain death
expectation.
that they're charging into
Absolutely.
because they know they
Yes.
need to save him, and they also trust that he will survive. Like he will find a way.
Yes.
Like he is Carl. He will find a way.
Yes.
And he does.
Exactly.
He
He
uses
does.
his
He's
invisibility
just
potion and smoke curtains, which have
and
they get the job done, but like
an
uh
invulnerability potion as well from Mordecai, which
yes,
means
yeah.
he
So
can't die
so
for 30 seconds.
so he accidentally gets stepped on by Maestro, and has to use the Mordecai special brew to survive, which is just pumping out like healing like crazy. Um, there's
Yeah.
a moment where Maestro like mocks Carl as helpless, that he's nothing like Earth, and that he and Earth's history will all be for nothing when he's done with them. It's just like a really villainous like brief
Oh
monologue.
yeah.
And then
Big
Ellie,
monologue, yeah.
yeah. So right as like everything like hit Carl's resources are running out, but Maestro hasn't noticed that he's stepping on Carl. Ellie rockets in and is flying really fast and distracting Maestro while they're driving one of the interdiction carts in. And Katya far away has taken the form of Carl to like pull him
I love that.
away. Oh my god, it's incredible. And then Carl like while Maestro's distracted rushes up to the Lees with the interdiction cart. And what I wrote this is a terrible word that I had to look up what it is. They have the second Manatar, and they have made it a hextaplegic. They have cut off all 6 of its limbs, and they've healed it to keep it alive for Carl to punch to resummon Gruul, and they do the plan again, this time correctly. They they summon Gruul, they shove it into the abyss, and Carl screams glurp glurp motherfucker as he collapses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Again,
oh my gosh.
so much in like one chapter. It's like one chapter and it's like everything happens. It's incredible.
It's really cool. What's really funny is when Carl saw all the Brynhild's daughters, he was like, oh yeah, they're all like really low level, and this is why you shouldn't form big groups, because the XP sharing is terrible. But what a diverse of abilities to draw on, like spells and skills. And that is what they do here. They have a big group with a diverse set of skills that comes together for a big activity.
Hell yeah.
And that's what, like, one of the things Carl's has said is like, we should come together. Like, I won't work well permanently with Lina because we're so abrasive to one another, but we should work together on big projects, essentially, is what he says. And that's what they do here. They come together, they get shit done. It's incredible.
It was an incredible. It was. Oh my god! I'm not going to say the best chapter that I've ever read, but like it's up there.
The action, they've definitely somehow continued to escalate like every few chapters here, and then they like escalate even further with that really personal, it's us versus Maestro in this dire situation that isn't even meant to be survived, blah blah blah. It's really
Carl's
good.
Horror at seeing the people that he's trying to protect like rushing into danger after him, just like it's just like escalate, just it gets
and he's chapter. Like, he was like telling them all like, don't come, get out of here, you need to do the plan without me, as they were charging in, and he would do the same for them.
Absolutely.
It's very sweet.
And
then of course,
like, shut the fuck up, Carl, and then they just do it.
and then they do it, and then they do the thing.
They do the damn thing.
Yeah, and then we get the last chapter, which is just, I think Matt Dinniman really likes his kind of like obligatory bittersweet riding into the sunset, reflecting on the floor. He's always had this at the end of every book so far.
Yeah.
So they survive. They apparently Gruul did like take some monsters out and blow a couple soul crystals, but they learned that Maestro abandoned his sponsorship, or they assumed that he abandoned the sponsorship because he was so embarrassed. And so Gruul ended up not killing that much in the abyss. So they still do have to send a bomb equipped train engine into the abyss. Um, and it's Brandy and Tizquick. Yeah, they have broken out. They are remembering their past lives, and they state that they will not allow themselves to be used like this again. And Brandy has this really great line to Carl. I understand now. I understand what this is. You must help us. I know you have your own people to help, but we shouldn't be enemies in this. No, I agreed. No, we shouldn't. And this is like Fire Brandy, this like really beloved character that we've known through this floor, is like asking Carl as like a final wish that he like work with NPCs moving forward. And I think it's like a restatement of commitment to doing that here.
Yeah.
And it's just like a reminder that like Carl has changed his stance on NPCs and locked in. Let's see. Donut mourns that Carl will lose experience because Firebrandy and Tizquick are going to be the ones that detonate the engine, not one of Carl's bombs. We get a bittersweet end of book reflection. Firebrandy had just killed herself to save her from losing more children. Tizquick had killed himself because his daughter had been a lie. This is just like more parenting reflection and what are parents willing to do for their children, even if they are fake engineered children or fictitious children that have been implanted in your memories. That the power of being a parent is so strong, even when it's fake. Or
it's,
you know,
it's the responsibility that you feel towards these other people, and what is your role in their survival. And for Firebrandy specifically, like for Tizquick, his children were manufactured more than likely. For Brandy, she had children because that was her race. She's pregnant, she's pumping out children while she's in this boiler, and she reflects on that, and she's like, one time I had 3, or this time they gave me 2 children, and I won't be used like that again. So like her children were real. She was like a couple of her children were viable, but like who knows? And she's saying that she remembers them, and when she wakes again, or she's remembering now that in these other versions, like she never saw her children again, the ones that she had that were viable, and she's like, I won't let them use me like this again. So her decision to end her life, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that, she's a mother who never got to spend this time with her children. She never got to reconnect with them. Who knows what happened to them? But also that she herself is tired of being used in the way that the game is using her. And she's like, you know what? Better for us all to just be dead.
Yeah, I've seen Handmaid's Tale.
Pretty much, dude.
She's like, I'm not gonna be used to make kids anymore. So
I'll kill as many people as I have to. Let's do that.
So the next line of this quote, Firebrandy killed herself, Tizquick killed himself for these reasons. I thought of my own mother who'd attempted to kill my father and then herself as a goddamn birthday present to me. She'd only half succeeded. We're learning this for the first time, I think.
For the first time. That was the
this is like, I think the entire time it's been my mother left me, my mother left me, my mother left me. And we thought she just had maybe ran away. But and that makes she's been characterized by that framing as like a coward. Like that's how we've interpreted it. If that's how we've interpreted it. But here it's like a shift and it's like a gotcha moment. Like, no, she tried to kill my dad and she killed herself. And juxtaposing that with Firebrandy and Tisquick, it's framing the mom as courageous and brave in a way to try and like give her life in this brave act. You know, we don't know what was going on with the mom and how complicated her mental health situation was. Clearly it wasn't great because of everything that we know happened before this, but like she tried to protect her child, Carl, in a complicated way.
But can I also just say, like, Matt Dinniman, you son of a bitch, he gives us this one sentence that we've been waiting for these like little kernels, little drops of water, like, you know, just waiting for more information on this fucking trauma, like his background with his parents. One line, that's all we get, and then like that's it for another 2 books practically.
Yeah. So it's such an interesting paragraph because Carl, like, if you look at what Carl says and how he's reacting to what he's saying, Firebrandy killed herself to save herself from losing more children. Tisquick killed himself because his daughter had been a lie. We can infer that he feels that those are noble acts because of how he has treated these characters and his perspective on NPCs. And then he talks about his mother and says she tried to do this as a goddamn birthday present to me. She'd only half succeeded. And he says it immediately after these honorable acts. And it's like, does he see it as honorable? It sounds like he's judging it, but he's also comparing it like right next to each other.
And we don't fucking know. And
we don't know. Carl is so unwilling to say how he feels around the topic that we don't know. Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
He's processing. God. He's processing. And that's the theme, is he's processing. So it's like, it could be both. It's complicated feelings. Probably, like, he's got to have a lot of feelings around it. It's not just one or the other.
Just that one line. But yeah, amazing.
I thought of everyone here with me now. They'd all jumped into certain death just to save me. Like your mom? Yep. Is that how you're feeling about it?
Yep.
I couldn't have survived without them. All my life, I'd felt alone because his mom didn't succeed and had left him. And now, at the edge of the apocalypse, I finally realized how much I needed other people. This is all like so much like, I am traumatized. I have shit. I value these things. I value these heroic acts. I know I need people, and it's taken me so long to realize it. Oh man, so complicated. I love the emotional depth here.
And it's an incredible reflection because like it again, like Carl's not trying to kill himself, but like I think that with like but I think that he's more than willing to sacrifice himself for, you know, the people that he loves, the people he cares about. He's like, a good cause, exactly. People who aren't able to protect themselves or people who are in an impossible situation. He's like, hey man, I'm a resource, use me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the fact that like these other people who he has protected time and time again, have all they ran into it. Like, nope, Carl's gonna live. We're gonna fix this. Like it was this like courageous act by his community, by these people, like stepping up and like he's like, oh my God, like I can't believe that they care about me. I can't believe that they didn't just let me die.
Yeah. And
it's so
this
fucking good.
All of these complicated feelings are triumphantly punctuated by the fact that Carl does receive XP for the explosion that goes off. He jumps to level 41. They feel explosions all over the place as all the soul crystals blow. Bautista and other crawlers chime in. It's success. We are saved. Thank you so much. And then Donut chimes in. Or no, he chimes to Donut. You shouldn't have done that, Donut, I said as I reached up and scratched her. You risked yourselves and you risked the cart. The cart meaning everyone else's salvation. in the dungeon. I wasn't going to just abandon you, Carl, Donut said. Who do you think I am? Miss Beatrice? No, I agreed. Yeah. You most definitely are not. Oh my God. It's fun. It's ironic because he's just had all these feelings about I need people. We all need each other. We wouldn't survive without each other. But also, Donut, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have risked yourself to save me, even though that's exactly what I would have done and what we need to be doing. He doesn't even know he's still struggling. His ideas aren't clear, even though his feelings are, and that's, I think, what's core to Carl's character is his emotions are clear, his convictions are clear, but in practice, it's complicated.
Very complicated.
Yeah. And then basically they just start like walking around the dungeon floor for a few hours because it's mostly safe, which is crazy. Yep. Carl reveals to us, but not to Donut, that at this point the hats are all worthless, which is just a prank on Donut.
He did try to sell them at one point, and they were like, they like laughed him out of the shop, basically.
Yeah, they're like, no, I'm not taking that. But Donut doesn't know that yet and won't know that until the start of the next book. Agatha reappears. She is level 8.
Somehow.
With her shopping cart. Imani is stunned and Carl's just like, don't. We'll talk later.
I'll tell you about it in a minute. Yeah.
They have a new PR manager, which Zev had warned us about. Loita checks in. And at the end of the chapter, Carl, we get an entry into the cookbook from Carl. I think we've seen one or two. Carl at one point, he has put in entries, and he even commented like, I think future crawlers will think I'm just a whiny bitch. But like he has an even more triumphant entry here, and this is, I think, it shows that Carl has shifted somewhere in his feelings around the resistance of the oppression and and fighting back, and the seed that he's planning. He talks about how NPCs are victims as much as us. Killing them is indeed a mercy. We should do it. But I realized something else. We need to not just talk about killing them, meaning like the showrunners. We need we need to do it. I don't know how, but I will figure it out. They will not break me. Fuck them all. They will not break me. But I will break them. This is my promise to myself, to my friends, and to you. Anyone who reads these words, I will break them all. It's like it's an evolution of his they will not break me, and it's a pivot point into like from going from defense to offense.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Absolutely.
And it just like
so good. Like, okay, so the next book, amazing, but like the book after that, The Butcher's Masquerade, is another level.
It's nuts.
It's my absolute favorite book of the series. And that's, like a lot of things happen in that book that make me cry. But it's, and that's not to say anything. There's nothing wrong with the 6th book or the 7th book. Actually, the book 7 makes me cry a whole lot too. But like but the Butcher's Masquerade, I'm very excited.
We will get there. We'll get there.
But a lot of big stuff happens in this next book too.
Yes, and this epilogue on this book does a lot to set up the next one in a way that I wasn't expecting the first time I read it. So the epilogue does a couple things. They go to their obligatory interview with Audette between floors, but before that, they are in the green room and they meet Loita, and we're given like some immediate like juxtaposing Loita with Zev. Loita is wearing like a bunch of like bloom like symbols.
Paraphernalia.
He has the rebreather rather than the full like astronaut suit. And she orders them to put Mongo and a book that Carl brought with him to like pass the time. She like orders them to put it away. She indicates that Zev is being re-educated and will be back, and that there will be tighter controls on interview interactions and info will be restricted. We get to see that played out as Zev later in the chapter interacts with Audette a couple times, and they get put on mute. They cannot hear Zev talking to Audette multiple times.
Loita talking.
Or I'm sorry, Loita, yeah.
There's a relationship there, and we can't figure out, like, do they like each other? Do they hate each other? Because it's like at one point they're screaming, and then a moment later they're both like kind of laughing together, like what good times, and then they go back to screaming at each other in opposition. So like we just don't like what a weird. They have a history together, and that's all we know for sure.
Yeah, it's really weird. Donut is super pissed off that Zev is gone. Donut does not like Loita whatsoever. Carl is just kind of like being like he's like at its face, like playing ball, but he's like trying to intimidate Loita and like push back against her, and they kind of have this like you don't scare me, well you don't scare me standoff right before the interview starts.
There's some of that. Yep.
Yeah. And then we jump to the interview. Audette is talking about the Grohl Maestro fight. Donut is remarking how, oh, well, I knew as soon as I saw it was Maestro that we had a chance. And she just like is making fun of it and just further, I think,
embarrassing
the Skull Empire, which is, you know, not good. I thought that there was like they had put a moratorium on fucking with the Skull Empire, but I guess not. There's apparently another new snick of Carl and Maestro. And then we arrive at the next edition of Audette's Do You Know What You Just Did with Carl. She seems to do this a lot. She's like, do you know the gravity of what you've just done? So this is where we learn about the nature of like gambling with the death challenge and the two gods. And apparently the AI had put Carl's survival at a rate of 50-1 odds. And they further mock Maestro by saying, oh, yeah, we're with Bowen. Those seem like those are not accurate odds. We should have had much better odds than that.
It should have been much higher than that. Yeah, absolutely.
No, I was like, oh, yeah, it should have been like more like 5-1 that we would die, not 50-1. So they kind of mockingly take Boren's side on an appeal that they've apparently made. Audette is like, you have made me and a lot of the galaxy a lot of money, but I'm not confident that I'll collect. This is further poking holes at Borent being poor and being fucked over by this crawl. They mock Audette for sponsoring Hecla because, well, Carl does because he knows that Hecla was sponsored by Audette's like the crab farm that she uses for her lower half on the show. And she's like, oh, no, that was my husband. So she like plays into it, even though Carl's like calling her out. And she even later after the show tells Carl that she really enjoyed the comment. It was me. And that was a great comment. It really plays to your smoldering anger personality. I love it. And so she's like, I don't even care that you mocked me. That's good TV. Like, this is her, like having no ego here, which is, you know, we love Audette for it.
And this is the part of that whole interaction that I was never really like, was she sponsoring Hecla? Like whenever, like she sponsored Hecla that round, but like she didn't sponsor her like from the get-go or whatever. But I know that she sponsored Hecla and all the daughters, but like they never got any gear from her. So was the purpose of her sponsoring Hecla?
I think Audette was hedging her bets.
Them from getting gear? Oh, do you think so?
So we actually didn't talk about this, but Carl realized during the Brynhild's daughters arc, he was like, oh, why didn't Audette tell Donut to watch out for Hecla? Oh, because Audette knows that Donut would be better off with them. So Audette is like set up the sponsorship to get her foot in the door in case the Brynhild's daughters came out on top and Carl died. I think we don't actually know, but that I think
fucking Audette.
I think
Honestly,
Audette
like,
I think Audette was playing
know.
both sides because bet on both horses that are gonna if one of these horses
Fair
is gonna
enough.
win, bet on both.
I guess. Yeah, I'm not trying to portray Audette as like some benevolent character at all. Audette cares about Audette, and that is it. But I don't know. There's something to that because, like,
I
like she did sponsor Brynhild's daughters and then gave them no gear, no
Yeah.
magical boxes, nothing. Nobody got a goddamn thing. So why sponsor them at all?
Because I don't know, because I think she saw that they had potential to do really well. She
Maybe.
saw how
Okay.
cunning, like she had perfect information ish on like
Oh, for
what
sure.
Hekla's plans were and like what she was saying and doing when no one else was watching, like in the dungeon was watching. So I think she
So
saw the
as a
potential that Hekla
sponsor,
had.
does that mean then that sponsors are privy to information about the crawlers that they're watching
No, no,
that the rest of the universe or galaxy
no,
isn't?
no. I think she just saw this is a strong group. We had
Interesting.
the Le Mouvement that was a
Le
big
Mouvement.
group that didn't survive, but
Yeah.
Hekla is clever. She's really smart. She's really manipulative, and she could succeed.
I don't know. I still think
Maybe.
about it. I'm just like, I don't know. I just don't.
So the other thing I'll say,
I don't know
I
that there is an
actually
answer. I don't know.
I forgot to mention this. So I saw an interview of Matt Dinniman, I think in Chicago, and someone asked him which character death was the hardest for him to write, and he said that it was in fact writing Donut's death because a practice and technique that he has when writing, and I think when he was talking about this, he was specific. I think he was specifically referring to the Brynhild's daughters arc and the way that played out. He says that when he writes a character death, he will write the scene as an exercise with lots of different characters dying and seeing and kind of playing out how would each character react in that moment. And it basically helps him arrive at what is this scene and what is the best version of it. So he doesn't necessarily like write it actually entertaining each one for the plot,
Right.
but it's an exercise that he uses. And so his answer was like Donut, even though she hasn't died, because it was a very difficult exercise to write. But he also in that interview said, and I think he was specifically referring to Hekla, that he said that I've actually written a death that of a character that I was not expecting to die in that scene. I did this exercise and arrived at actually this character should die, not that one. I suspect that he thought maybe Katya or Eva should die in that scene.
Okay, yes. Okay, I could see that.
And
because we haven't been with Katya that long. We care about her, but like we don't.
Yeah.
It would have been impactful, but like it wouldn't have broken us.
I think I think he had intended for Eva to die so that there could be that huge division. I think that as he had been writing Hekla and building up towards everything over the last two books, I suspect that he was building towards a true break and like PvP with Hekla's group over a longer period of time. But I think he realized it was better and more interesting for Donut's character if Hekla betrays and Katya comes into her own. Like that's what he had been writing Katya to do. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I think
it's interesting.
God. Like, and even as I'm saying it, I'm just like, please don't kill Donut.
I don't think you would. Absolutely not.
Hope not, but like you just don't know with him. You don't know with authors. They delight in killing your favorite characters.
This is true.
It's just I don't know. Like up till this point in the series, I have read and reread these books many, many times. And I think like if the series ended and Donut died, like that would be the last time I ever pick up the series to read it. I don't think I could reread it. I can't imagine a way in which he could write Donut's death that I'd be like, cool, I'm gonna go tear my heart out again. book one, let's do this. Like,
Yeah.
that would be it for me. I don't know.
I
Like,
I trust Matt Dinniman's writing.
I trust Matt Dinniman's writing,
I think if he
but
decided that the best course of action for the story was for Donut to die, that it would be for a good reason, like a very, very compelling reason, and it would have to be so tied to Carl's healing, like trauma and healing.
oh God,
Like
no, Carl would go off the deep end. No, I don't even. I
yeah,
don't even want to contemplate it. I don't even want to contemplate Donut dying. I'm not emotionally strong enough to deal with that, Nick. I don't think I. Nope, can't live it. I can't live in a world
well,
where that
I don't think he will, but
happens.
I'm just saying if he did, I would trust. I would try and trust the process, and I would give him the benefit of the doubt, and I would come to my own conclusions
Okay,
about was this worth it? Was it worth it? Okay.
Are you happy now? Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, there isn't much. We see Odette and Loida mute, rip each other to shreds, and then
Yep.
oh, we should get lunch sometime. And then again after
Have
the
friends like that.
interview,
Yeah.
and then Odette gives them like some vague hints at the next floor, and then we see them enter the next floor. I think I'll save this for next episode, but basically they step into an antechamber and roll a couple dice, and it determines where they land. And they basically step out into a giant litter box.
Yep.
A desert.
A desert. They're in a desert, but Donut is like, oh, it's like a giant litter box, Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait until we get into this next book.
This next book is crazy. I'm already
The Gate of the Feral Gods.
The Gate of the Feral Gods. Just look at this. Look at this. This fucking book cover.
Yeah.
There's a what is
They're flying through the air, first of all.
So there's a prop plane that they have dove out of.
Yep.
Donut is very regal with her sunglasses and tiara, whereas Carl looks panicked.
Yep. Absolutely panicked.
They are falling towards red, which is hot, and falling away from blue and black, which is cold. They're also falling away from a giant head with no eyes and smoke coming out of it, and a second mouth on its
mouths?
Yeah, like where its jaws should be, and they're screaming. And then I don't think I realized what this other big feature of this character in the background was until I read it. It's a giant ass horn coming out of one side of its head, not the other.
One side of his head. Yeah. Just one big ass horn. Oh man, this is a terrific book.
I can't wait to talk about this.
Oh, and one of the for Chris?
For Chris.
You're gonna wait until next time.
Oh yes. So yeah, we'll get into this next time. But this is the really big book for Chris. This is a book. The Gate of the Feral Gods is a book about women bamboozling men.
Okay.
I'm about 2/3 of the way through rereading this, and I've already decided that is the theme of this book: is women bamboozling men.
I mean, it happens often.
There are three specifically that I'm thinking of, and they are. I'll message you.
Big ones.
All right. So back to book 3. Book 3 was great. It is ultimately very confusing as to mechanically what's happening in the dungeon, and I think no matter how many times I reread it, it will continue to be confusing. I don't know if it needed to be this confusing, but I think it does work in terms of convincing us to feel overwhelmed and confused alongside the crawlers.
Oh yeah, chaos was the name of the game for sure with the Tangle.
Yes. But it was really good. We're getting lots of great character development. We're getting, we're just peeling layers at a nice, even pace among all these plot threads. Really fun book.
Meeting more of the top 10. Excited that we got to see Prepotente and Miriam Dom.
Yeah.
Just very exciting. And we get a very brief glimpse of Bianca. Bianca's terrifying.
Wait, Bianca?
Yeah, she's the other goat.
Oh
She's
yes, I have. I don't think we've mentioned
Shadow
her.
Seed.
I've left her out. She's the other of Miriam Dom's goats that got a enhanced. Well, actually, Miriam Dom got 3 pet biscuits. One of them is Prepotente. One of them is
Bianca.
Bianca, who's like a giant mount and like death demon thing that is supposed to get to be the size of a dragon, which we will talk about when we get to it. And then apparently the third one, it didn't go well. The third,
which is why she stopped giving them the pet biscuits after that. Yeah, absolutely.
Poor sweet Miriam Dom. Yeah, we also got to see more of Florin and his girlfriend, who I was thinking about this earlier today. Like, why did we get the scene where Carl was not aware that I'm forgetting her name now. Florin's girlfriend.
Iffy? Oh, yeah. Iffy.
Yeah, if short for what? If Iffy. He didn't realize that Iffy was a woman. I'm not sure why we had that scene. I think it was meant to just like make Carl look like he's not completely good at everything.
Ifechi,
yes, thank you. Weird scene, but yeah, the Lucia Mar versus Ifechi and Florin was intense.
I think Ifechi just had Ifechi had short hair, and like, you know, you're in the dungeon, you have like a crew cut basically, and you're not wearing makeup. Maybe someone mistakes you for a man, you know.
Yeah, I just don't know why it was important, and the only thing I could come up with was to make Carl imperfect as a protagonist, and to give them something to talk about during
the recap episode.
The recap episode. Absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting. All right.
Oh man, can't wait for the next book.
All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in for this episode. Feel free to drop us a like on YouTube and subscribe, and let us know what you think of the books as we go, and what you think of our reactions and critique. These are very fun, Shannon. I love doing these with you. I can't wait to chat with you next week. I love
doing these with you too. I'm glad you read these books.
Yeah. All right. Have a good night, everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Love you.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.